Have you ever woken up on a Tuesday morning after retirement and thought to yourself, what now? The clock isn't demanding you to rush anywhere. There's no boss waiting, no office chatter, just silence. And while the quiet might have felt like a relief at first, over time it can start to feel empty. The kind of quiet that doesn't soothe but instead raises questions you never had time to ask before. You spent decades showing up, solving problems, helping others, staying busy. Now that the constant rhythm of work has stopped, it's normal to feel a little off balance. For some, retirement feels like winning the lottery of time. For others, it can feel like drifting without an anchor. And you know what? Both of those feelings are perfectly okay. The real question is, how do you thrive in this next chapter, truly thrive when the structure you knew is gone? In this video, we're diving into exactly that. We'll talk about 5 deeply motivating ways to bring purpose and energy into your life after 60. Simple shifts that can transform your days from ordinary to meaningful. If you've ever felt stuck or wondered how to keep your spirit alive after retirement, you're in the right place. Let's start by talking about something most people overlook: the power of small daily rituals. It sounds simple, but creating a little structure in your day can do wonders. You see, during your working years, your life ran on a clock: morning coffee before traffic, lunch breaks at noon, meetings in the afternoon. That rhythm may have felt tiring at times, but it gave your day shape. After retirement, time can feel like a blank canvas, which is exciting but also overwhelming. You don't need to fill every hour with tasks. But something as basic as walking every morning at 8 a.m., stretching before breakfast, or sitting outside with your coffee and a good book can ground your day and give it momentum. These small routines serve as mental cues, reminders that your day has value, purpose, and direction. It's not about productivity in the traditional sense. It's about presence. When you create a rhythm that's yours and yours alone, you start each day with intention instead of drifting into it. Now, let's talk about something that can be a game changer for motivation: learning something new. Yes, even after 60, especially after 60, your brain is still hungry, still curious, still alive with potential. The myth that you can't learn new things as you age, total nonsense. In fact, engaging your mind with something fresh not only boosts memory and focus, it also builds confidence. It doesn't have to be complicated. Maybe it's taking up painting, even if you haven't held a brush since elementary school. Or maybe it's joining a local history group, learning to cook a new cuisine, or even trying your hand at a little technology, like figuring out how to post your garden photos on Instagram, or finally mastering video calls with the grandkids. Every time you learn something new, you create a spark inside you, a reminder that your mind is still in motion, that you're still growing, still expanding. Learning gives you goals, and goals give you motivation. And the best part, there's no boss grading you. You get to learn just for the joy of it. Another powerful motivator: giving back. When we retire, we often think of it as a time to rest, and it is. But part of what gave you energy during your working years wasn't just the paycheck, it was the feeling that you were contributing, that you mattered, that someone somewhere counted on you. That sense of usefulness doesn't vanish just because the job ends. One of the most fulfilling things you can do in retirement is to offer your time, wisdom, or even just your presence to someone who needs it. That might be volunteering at a local food pantry, reading to kids at a library, mentoring a young adult, or visiting folks who don't get many visitors. The truth is, the world still needs you, and sometimes just a kind word or a shared story is more powerful than you realize. You might be surprised how often giving leads to receiving. When you show up for others, it brings you energy, purpose, connection, and all of those things are fuel for staying motivated, far more than checking off a to-do list ever was. Now I want to touch on something more personal. Sometimes, after retirement, you may find that your social circle shrinks. Maybe old work friends drift away. Maybe the phone rings less often. That change can feel sharp. But here's something many people miss: Solitude can be powerful too if you learn how to embrace it rather than resist it. Spending time alone doesn't have to mean being lonely. It can mean getting reacquainted with who you really are underneath all the roles you used to play. You're not just a former teacher or a retired business owner or a past caregiver. You're still you. You have dreams, preferences, talents, and maybe even some surprises waiting to be discovered. Try taking a solo walk somewhere new, sit in a park and watch the world move. Write your thoughts in a notebook. Not to be productive, but just to be with yourself. Over time, you might find that motivation doesn't always come from outside. Sometimes it comes from within, from knowing yourself, liking yourself, and being okay with your own company. And that's one of the greatest gifts retirement can offer. Time to know and enjoy yourself fully and without apology. Now that we've opened the door to these ideas, building daily rituals, continuing to learn, giving back, and learning to enjoy your own company, something starts to shift. You begin to see that motivation after retirement isn't about chasing the same kind of goals you did before. It's about creating a life that feels good to you. A life that fills your spirit, not just your schedule. Let's keep that energy going. Now that you've started thinking about how routines, learning, giving back, and embracing solitude can add motivation and purpose to your life after retirement, let's build on that energy. One of the most underestimated keys to feeling alive, really alive, is movement. And no, I'm not talking about training for a marathon or lifting weights like a bodybuilder. I'm talking about gentle, joyful movement that reminds your body and mind that you're still very much in the game. It might be dancing in your kitchen to an old Motown favorite, or taking a leisurely stroll through your neighborhood just to see the flowers blooming and the seasons shifting. Or maybe it's joining a local senior Thai Chi group in the park, where you not only stretch and move but laugh and breathe and connect. Movement keeps the body limber, yes, but it also fuels the mind. It's like oil for the machine. When we move our bodies, we get out of our heads, we clear the fog, we invite energy in. And here's the secret. When your body feels good, your spirit tends to follow. Even 10 minutes a day can lift your mood and give you something to look forward to. It doesn't have to be fancy. Just consistent, just intentional. Every stretch, every step is a quiet declaration. I'm still here and I'm still going. Now let's talk about something equally important: connection. Human beings are wired for it. And after retirement, it can be easy to lose those little touch points that used to come naturally. You'd chat at the coffee machine, you'd wave to a coworker, you'd share a smile or a story without even trying. But once those daily interactions disappear, it can feel like a void opens up. So how do you build meaningful connection without the workplace to bring people together? You create it on your own terms. Maybe that means inviting a neighbor over for coffee once a week, or joining a local book club where you can share your thoughts, not just on the story, but on life itself. Maybe it's taking part in a community garden where people gather not just to grow vegetables, but to grow friendships. And let's not overlook technology. It's not just for the young. FaceTime with the grandkids. Send voice messages to old friends. Join a Facebook group for people who share your hobbies or values. There are thousands of people out there just like you, looking for connection that feels real and uplifting. You don't have to do it all at once. Just one small step, one new interaction, can create a ripple of energy you didn't know you needed. And speaking of energy, another vital way to stay motivated after retiring is to find a sense of creative expression. That doesn't mean you have to be an artist or a writer. It simply means doing something that allows your inner thoughts and feelings to come to life. For some, it's gardening, placing your hands in the dirt and watching something beautiful grow. For others, it's cooking a new recipe, rearranging a room, writing a poem, or picking up an old instrument just for fun. Creativity is about tapping into the part of you that wants to express, not impress. It's not about being good at something. It's about enjoying the process. You might be surprised how often a spark of creativity leads to a flood of motivation. You try one new dish and suddenly you're experimenting in the kitchen again. You write one paragraph in a journal and suddenly you feel inspired to tell your story. It's all connected, your hands, your heart, your energy. There's something else I want to mention that may surprise you. One of the best ways to feel motivated in retirement is to give yourself permission to rest without guilt. That's right rest, real rest. Not just zoning out in front of the TV, but intentional rest that recharges your spirit. You spent a lifetime earning it, but so many retirees still feel like they have to prove something, stay busy every minute, or apologize for slowing down. You don't have to. In fact, true motivation often comes not from doing more, but from being more in tune, more present, more at peace. Take a nap in the afternoon without calling it lazy. Sit quietly with a cup of tea without checking the clock. Watch the birds outside your window like it's the most important thing in the world, because right then it is. Stillness isn't empty, it's full of power. And it's often in those quiet moments that your next idea, your next spark of inspiration will come to you. And finally, one of the greatest ways to feel deeply motivated is to remember your why. Why do you get up in the morning? What brings you joy? What matters to you now, not 10 years ago, not when you were working, but right now in this season of life? That answer might shift as the years go by. That's okay. Let it shift. Let yourself grow into this version of you. It could be your health, your family, your faith, your curiosity, or your desire to leave a legacy. Maybe it's just the joy of waking up each day and finding something beautiful in it. Whatever it is, keep it close. Let it guide your choices, your habits, your days. When you live from that place, motivation doesn't need to be forced. It rises naturally like the sun. So let's keep walking this journey together. Retirement isn't the end of the road. It's a wide, open path. And now you get to choose the direction. No deadlines, no rules, just possibility. There's something beautiful about reaching this stage of life with the freedom to choose your own pace, your own rhythm, and your own purpose. And as we've been talking about motivation after retirement, there's one more powerful truth that can make all the difference. It's never too late to dream forward. So many people think dreams are for the young. That once you retire, your time for goals and ambitions is over. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Retirement doesn't mark the end of achievement. It simply opens the door for a new kind of success, one that's not measured in promotions or paychecks, but in peace, growth, fulfillment, and joy. Maybe you've always wanted to write a book, or start painting again, or learn the guitar, or take that trip you've put off for years. Why not now? There's no better time than when the calendar is finally yours. You can say yes to things you used to only dream about. It doesn't have to be big to be meaningful. Even a small dream, like planting a rose garden or starting a weekly coffee date with a friend, can fill your days with excitement and anticipation. Now you might be thinking, what if I try and fail? But here's the gift of this chapter: the pressure is off. This isn't about proving yourself, it's about enjoying yourself. It's about doing things because they feed your soul, not because they need to impress anyone. That kind of motivation is pure, it's sustaining, and it's deeply, deeply personal. Another powerful motivator in retirement is celebrating how far you've come. We often get so focused on what's next that we forget to look back and appreciate the road we've walked. Think about it, you've built a life. You've worked hard. You've raised families, overcome hardships, made countless decisions, and shaped who you are. That deserves reflection. It deserves gratitude. Try this. Every now and then sit quietly and think about a moment you're proud of. Maybe something from your career or something personal, raising your children, helping someone through a hard time, or just making it through seasons you never thought you would. These aren't just memories. They're reminders of your strength, your wisdom, your resilience. When you tap into that, motivation flows naturally, because you realize you've done hard things before and you can do them again. Now let's talk about something very practical: structure. You see, one of the things people miss most after retiring is the built-in structure of a workday. You used to wake up at a certain time, have responsibilities, meetings, deadlines. It gave your day a shape. Once that disappears, it can feel like you're floating, like every day is Saturday and not in a good way. So here's a gentle tip. Give your days a little structure, even if it's simple. It could be a morning walk, reading time after breakfast, a creative hour in the afternoon, or a favorite show you watch in the evening. These anchor points don't have to be rigid, but they give your day purpose and flow. It helps you wake up with intention and go to bed with satisfaction. A little structure leads to a stronger sense of control, and control leads to motivation. Of course, motivation also needs fuel. And by that, I mean taking care of your body. It's hard to feel inspired if you're exhausted, achy, or sluggish. So don't overlook the basics: good sleep, gentle movement, nourishing meals, plenty of water. And don't be afraid to check in with your doctor or a wellness expert to make sure your health is supporting your lifestyle, not holding it back. You deserve to feel good in your body, not because it looks a certain way, but because it lets you live your life the way you want to. When your body is cared for, your mind feels clearer, your mood is lighter, and you're more inclined to pursue the things that matter to you. And here's something many folks don't talk about enough. Your environment plays a big role in your motivation. Look around your space. Does it lift you up or weigh you down? Sometimes just opening the blinds, decluttering a room, adding a plant, or a photo of someone you love can shift your mindset completely. Our surroundings affect how we feel. If you create a space that feels calm, bright, and inspiring, you'll find that motivation has an easier time showing up. Maybe most importantly, I want to remind you that motivation doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be firecrackers and big declarations. Sometimes it's quiet, gentle, a whisper that says, "Let's try," and that's enough. If you wake up each day and do one thing that brings you a little joy, a little growth, a little peace, that's success. That's thriving. Let's be real, there will be days when you feel unmotivated, when you wonder if any of it matters. That's human. But when those days come, let them pass like clouds. Don't judge yourself, don't compare yourself to others. Just return to your why, your purpose. And remind yourself that this chapter of life is yours to shape in whatever way feels right to you. So if today you go for a walk, or call an old friend, or pick up that book you've been meaning to read, celebrate it. If you journal one page, or sing in the shower, or sit on the porch and feel the breeze, celebrate that too. These are not small things. They are meaningful. They are signs that you're showing up for your life with heart and presence. And that's what thriving in retirement really means. It's not about being busy every second. It's about living with awareness, choosing things that make you feel alive, listening to yourself, trusting that your journey is still unfolding in beautiful, unexpected ways. So here's to you, to your courage, your curiosity, and your commitment to live fully right now today. If this video has resonated with you, I'd love to hear about your own journey in the comments. What's one thing that motivates you in this chapter of your life? Share it. You never know who you might inspire. And if you enjoyed this, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more conversations like this. We're building a community here of people who are growing, dreaming, and living with purpose at every age. You are not done. You are just getting started. Here's to living your best life, one meaningful step at a time.